So it all started just thinking about what God was doing with young adults and where God was doing it, how God was doing it, and began to think to myself, man, I have some amazing friends that are serving young adults all around the LA area, Southern California. And started to feel the Holy Spirit kind of call me out and saying, why are you doing something on your own when you can be doing some amazing things just by reaching out and connecting with others to say, what might God be doing through all of us collectively?
I mean, I thought it was crazy. It was the first time I had ever really had anybody reach out to me and try to say, I like what you're doing, I want to do it with you. I think we could do it better together. And at that point in my life personally, I had been doing youth ministries and young adults ministries for about 7 years, and I was starting to feel a burnout. So to just know that there was other people in my position, in my shoes, doing it somewhere else, and now we were going to be able to do it together, it sounded crazy, but it was exciting.
I remember the first meeting we came together, we're all staring at each other and trying to figure out like, okay, what's going on here? Who's leading? Who's got the vision? Who's got the idea? And really it just became a moment where we started to ask questions together. What might God be doing? How might God want to use us? Why would He put us together in friendship and relationship like He has? And what could that look like? And then we caught ourselves brainstorming. 3 months later, we're getting ready to jump into our first retreat.
So, going to that first camp, I kind of felt like I was still trying to figure out my place with the Lord. I never really used the terminology being called. I didn't feel like that. I kind of just, grew up with Mexican parents that made me work all the time. So I just wanted to work. And being at that first camp, I specifically remember it was on Sunday morning, and I'm standing there with all the other group doing communion. And God just brought to my mind, do you see what I can do if you let me use you? And I knew in that moment that it wasn't anything that I could have come up with or any of these leaders could have come up with. This was us giving up our power, our control to God and letting Him do something with it. And in that moment, I identified that's what the call is. Telling God, yes, you can use my life now.
And I remember one service in particular. It was the first year of Authentic on a Saturday night. And I remember after the service was done, all the young adults just were lingering at the altar, and we just got into this breakout of worship. And it was such an awesome experience for myself and for the entire group. And one of the things what I really took away from seeing that was that God was showing me that we were literally giving birth to a movement for a young generation that is going to literally be perpetual, taking it one generation to another, and just to sit back and to see God move and to be part of that movement is literally an honor and a blessing to see that and to be a part of that.
The call has not necessarily made life an easier walk through a meadow. I mean, I'll be honest with you, after that first Authentic, I knew God had called me, but God doesn't work in the way where He just kind of tells you every single step and every single moment that's going to come. I knew just that God was going to be in every single step that I was going to be taking. And over the last 5 years, what I've been able to see is that God has not let me go. He has not just called me for me to figure this thing out on my own, called life, called ministry, called marriage, called fatherhood coming up. God is just letting me know, now that you're called, I have a purpose for you every single day. And I've seen that through Authentic, that young adults can find that call for their lives. And if they respond, it doesn't mean life just gets easier or clearer. It just means that you know that every single day there's a purpose to your life.
I believe that God is inviting us and calling us as a young generation to live a life worthy of the call. And I believe with all my heart that the decisions that we make this year is going to literally affect our tomorrow. And not only our tomorrow, but it's going to affect a generation, it's going to affect a state, a nation, and literally the world.
And it's crazy to think that God can use something like Authentic to provide an opportunity to give somebody the space to think about, what is God's call on your life? What's God calling you to? Where does He place you? What's important to you? What makes your heart beat? What causes you to cry? What causes you to laugh? Why has God placed you right here, right now, and brought you to this retreat, this experience, to be able to think about what you're going to do when God says, I need you?
I wouldn't want you 5 years from now to look back and say, what if I would have said yes? you can say yes. And if you do say yes, I guarantee God will use your life.